Hello, and welcome to Let's Play Pathfinder Kingmaker. I'm your host, BringItDon. This is actually my second take of the character creation video. Not important. What is important is this video is going to consist of character creation and what follows directly after character creation, which I now know is just some dialogue between some NPCs and myself. As soon as I'm allowed to manually save the game, this video is over. So a little bit of knowledge on the game. Pathfinder Kingmaker is based off of the tabletop game Pathfinder. It's the first, I think, actual video game set in the Pathfinder universe. It's developed by Owlcat Games, who I'm growing to really like. They seem to be really good developers. I pre-ordered the game, so I backed the game as a Kickstarter for the game. I think I'm like a tier 2 backer. Anyway, I'll have some pre-order bonuses in the game, a couple of items, nothing too fancy. And you'll see load game, because again, I've recorded this all before, but ended up being over an hour long, and I was just rambling on, kind of like what I'm doing now. Anyway, let's get right into it. We're going to do challenging mode, because it's kind of just the normal, like enemy, as you can see, character will suffer full damage from enemies, not reduced damage or increased damage, just full damage. Enemies will fight at full power and will have the usual chance of inflicting critical hits. So it's literally just normalized. It's not hard. It's not made harder on purpose. It's not made easier on purpose. Just normal. Anyway, let's get this underway. We're going to create a character. Now, as they made the companions, they released little biographies about the companions. I read those as they came out. So I already know what my party's going to consist of, at least what I intend the party to consist of. Regardless, and this is the portrait I'm going to bring, we'll look at him real quick. They don't really have any good bearded ones, except for the dwarf, but I will be playing a human in this Let's Play. I really like that one. I also really like this one. But sadly, I'll have a beard, so it doesn't make sense to have a beardless portrait. This is really cool. This is actually one of the characters. I'm sure most of these are characters in the game somewhere. I also really like this one. Though I doubt I'll ever play was it a freebooter? I like that one as well. It looks more fighter-esque. So does he. I really like this one. I wish you could change like the color schemes of it. And give him a beard. I don't know. I wish the portraits... They should do what Dragon Age Origins did, where you make your character and then the portrait's customized to your character. But anyway, once again, I already know what I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for this angry face. As you can see, he's grimacing. Hairstyle, that one. And beard, that. Again, I like to make the characters more reminiscent of myself. All the available classes are human, elf, dwarf, gnome, halfling, half-elf, half-orc, and Aasimar. Pretty generic D&D/Pathfinder races. They all have their own abilities, of course, like dwarves, gnomes, and halflings all have slower movement speed, but dwarves have the slower movement speed, but they're also not slowed or encumbered by their armor. I think it's called like slow and steady, right? Yeah. And most of the races, except for human and Aasimar, which are basically just divine humans, essentially. They have like celestial heritage. Have the keen... Oh wait, no. Half-orcs don't have it either. Keen senses, which gives you +2 racial bonus on perception checks. But I'm going to be playing a human because you get +2 to one ability score at creation. The character gets +2 bonus to an ability of their choice. So like strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence. I'm probably going to put it in strength. Let's see. They get 1 feat at the first level, and every 2 levels thereafter, humans receive a bonus feat at first level. Also very good. Humans, again, typically get like some sort of passive bonus like that at the beginning of most games. Don't have anything that really stands out. Skilled humans gain an additional skill rank at first level, and 1 additional rank whenever they gain a level. Pretty good. And you can change which hand you hold your weapon in. I plan on using 2-handed weapons, so it doesn't matter as much, but right-handed is what I would do in the real world, so that's what I'll use here. Oh yeah, and it resets whenever you change race. Yeah, grimacing under the beard. I don't know, maybe I want to make him look a little more benevolent. I feel like this looks a little bit more like me with the beard on. Or that. Yeah, we'll go with that. Alright, and then here's your classes. So you'll see these 6 at the bottom are grayed out. I can't select them. Those are prestige classes. So at level 5, I believe I can turn into one of these if I wanted to. Obviously, you need to meet the prerequisites. So like Arcane Trickster, you need to have 4 Trickery, 4 Mobility, and 2 Sneak Attack, and ability to cast Arcane 2nd level spells, all that stuff. This, all you need is a base attack bonus of 7, which is pretty solid. Eldritch Knight would also be fun. Anyway, we'll go over these real quick. An Alchemist is basically, he's an alchemist. He throws potions, bombs, uses like magical devices. Also, every class has 3, I'm not sure what they're called, vocations, I guess? We'll call them vocations. That's not the word for it, but that's what we're going with for right now. Also, I want to make known the races and classes that are available right now won't necessarily be all that are in the game. They're going to continue releasing post-release content. It's all going to be added via DLCs. You can buy the DLCs individually, and they'll add new companions, races, classes. Because this isn't everything Pathfinder has to offer. There's a ton of classes and races. But I think Alchemist, Inquisitor, and Magus aren't the core classes. The rest of them are. But there'll also be like a season pass and all that stuff. Anyway, not super important. But anyway, Alchemist, you have the regular Alchemist, the Grenadier. He throws more bombs. The Vivisectionist, I believe, is a rogue. Because he can sneak attack, right? Yeah. He's like the rogue version of the Alchemist. And the Trojan is the healer. Barbarian can't wear heavy armor unless you run the Armored Hulk Barbarian, of course. They usually wear like leather or light armor. Melee DPS. Pretty straightforward. Mad Dog, I think, does what? Animal Companion. Alright, so he's the summoner of the Barbarians. And Baldur Rager. I'm not really sure what he does. Oh, Extreme Endurance. Did that all have Extreme Endurance? Nope. Alright, so he just gets Extreme Endurance. He's just a tanky barbarian. Bard, like most RPGs, is like the support character. He inspires. He either buffs his allies or debuffs his enemies. So like inspire courage, inspire competence, stuff like that. They're roguish in nature, but the archaeologist is the actual rogue slash bard. Thundercaller is, I think, a DPS bard. Think like a rune priest from like Warhammer 40k. It's pretty cool. He's like a DPS, and Flame Dancer is the flame version of the Thundercaller. These, again, just from my brief experience looking these over, these are what I assume they are. Don't actually, you know what? We're gonna stop going over them like that. Cleric is the healer, typically. He can also do holy damage, typically really good against undead. Crusader, I think, is the like militant, well, yeah, it says militant right there, but like the melee version, or like the offensive version. There we go. It's a better word. Offensive version of the cleric. Herald Collar is a summoner. He just summons heralds, whatever those are. The Ecclesiathurge is, I think he buffs, right? Yeah, blessings. Yeah, he's like a support character. Druid, nature spellcaster, essentially. He can shapeshift into a wolf, and I think leopards and stuff, right? They usually deal with like nature magic, like poison. Yeah, leopard, bear. I don't know what a Smelodon is. And a huge elemental. Blight Druid. Again, he uses like poison, miasma, things of that nature. Defender of the True World. I don't know what he does. Oh, he's efficient against Fey creatures. And Fey Speaker. Okay, well anyway. Fighter, pretty straightforward. Usually like sword and boar, two-handed weapon. In this case, you have just the generic fighter, the outdoorsy defender. He's a duelist. He uses a one-handed sword, or one-handed weapon of some kind. I think it's usually a sword, right? Yeah, dueling sword. So he's, that's how he excels. Then you have the tower shield specialist. So you basically have one version of every type of melee character. You have the one-handed weapon, you have the sword and board, or sword and shield, and then you have the two-handed fighter. It's pretty straightforward. The Inquisitor is like the witch hunters, or like a witch hunter of the Warhammer, or Inquisitors of Warhammer 40k, or Spanish Inquisition. They or almost like bounty hunters, I guess. Monster Tactician, he's the summoner for the Inquisitor class. Tactical Leader, he gives buffs, right? Like they're in range. Like they're within 30 feet, he gives buffs to them. And I think he can also have them all attack like one enemy and do bonus damage to one enemy. Sacred Huntsmaster has an animal companion. Magus is really cool. He's a melee spellcaster. Essentially, he buffs himself, he goes into combat, and starts swinging a magic sword. The Eldritch Scion, what does he do? Oh yeah, they can also use heavy armor, which is not common for a spellcaster. So like you see arcane heavy armor there. Fighter training, arcane medium armor. Typically they could just use light armor or no armor when you cast spells, because armor gets in the way of casting spells. Eldritch Scion do not study tomes of magic, so they're like the sorcerers. We'll get to that in a minute. Sorcerers tend to not have to learn magic. They know it via their bloodlines or instinctually, like it's just natural for them to cast spells, whereas wizards have to learn the magic and then cast it. Sword Saint can't use heavy armor. That's his little quirk. And he has to pick one weapon in the beginning, I believe. Yeah, you choose a weapon in the beginning that's one-handed. Use of a single weapon. I guess he'd use two-handed weapon, I guess. It only says a single weapon, not a one-handed weapon. Yeah, so he has to choose... Yeah, so he's proficient in simple weapons and a single martial or exotic melee weapon of his choice. So yeah, you just pick any weapon in the beginning, and that's the weapon he's best with throughout the rest of the game. Which you can choose, a weapon proficiency for any like fighter class. Eldritch Archer, same thing as like the Eldritch Scion, but with a bow. Monk, pretty straightforward. If you're familiar with like Diablo or even World of Warcraft, he typically uses his fists, but he's proficient in most weapons. Here, though, he can't use armor, and if he has a certain encumbrance, he receives penalties to his rolls. But yeah, here, Scaled Fist sounds really cool. It's like a dragon style of combat. But yeah, typically they rely on like dexterity and dodging to avoid damage. They wear like cloth armor. Sensei is similar to the Inquisitor Tactical Leader. He provides bonuses to nearby allies within 30 feet, I believe. You can almost compare him to like a bard, so it's like a bard / monk. And traditional monk, I'm not sure what the difference between a traditional monk and a monk is. But you pick either one. But they can only use like the base. Sacrifice the freedom to choose their power in exchange for steeled willpower and the trusted set of traditional abilities. Paladin's what I'm going to select, so we're going to skip that for now. Ranger is what you would imagine a ranger to be. Range, DPS, summons animal companions. As with D&D, rangers also select a hated race or a favored enemy, and they get bonus rolls against that favored enemy. Freebooter is a pirate with leadership abilities similar to the tactical leader and the traditional monk. Flame Warden uses flame. He can, enchant his weapons with fire damage. He gets this cool ability down here too, Phoenix Rising, where once per week, when he dies, he can come back from his own ashes. It seems like a lot of fun. Anyway, Stormwalker, lightning version of Flame Warden, from what I gather. He gets immunity to electricity. Flame Warden gets immunity to fire. Somewhere, I think it's here. And honestly, the Flame Warden, from what I've looked at, looks better than the Stormwalker. And then the Rogue, or Thief, depending on, you know, how you want to categorize it. Stealthy, backstabby, crits. I think he can use magic too, right? Or is that just the Eldritch Scoundrel? Eldritch Scoundrel is basically a Thief Mage. Easy peasy. Knife Master, I think it's more of your generic rogue, dual-wielding daggers or knives. Thug doesn't have something the rest of them do. But he more intimidates people. What does he do? Brutal beating. Like, he's not as stealthy or what have you, he's just he's a thug. And the sorcerers we kind of covered. They kind of innately know magic, and it's dependent on their bloodline as well. Like, you select the bloodline and it dictates your special abilities. Imperial Wizard, what do you do? Oh yeah, Imperial Wizards are like the celestial, sorcerer. Celestial sorcerers, essentially, like holy divine magic. Sylvan is like a druid slash sorcerer, and Sage, I'm not sure what's different about a Sage compared to everybody else. Anyway, Wizards, they have to study magic. I think they have to have a spellbook equipped, as opposed to a sorcerer. A sorcerer doesn't need a spellbook. A wizard needs to learn their spells. Arcane Bomber, I think, is like a alchemist. Yeah, he's an alchemist wizard, so combine both classes. And then Thessalonian. I don't know what Thessalonians are. 2 additional spell slots of each spell level he can cast. These bonus spell slots must both be used to prepare the same spell from the wizard. Okay. So you can basically cast a redundant spell, or redundantly cast a spell. And scroll savings use scrolls to cast spells. Pretty straightforward. Paladins. So, in games similar to this, I'm always split between paladins and fighters. Those are my favorite classes. I like being up on the front lines, brawling. There are no paladin companions. That's why I'm picking a paladin over a fighter in this situation. After paladin and fighter, the second tier of classes that I really enjoy are monk, magus, druid, and barbarian. I think barbarian's slightly above the other 3. So it's like tier 2.5. Or 1.5, I guess, because you go from tier 1 down to tier 3. And then the rest of them, whatever. I don't care for the rest of the classes, typically. But then, yeah, you have Paladin, you have Divine Hunter, which is a ranged caster Paladin. The Hospitaler. I don't know, I can't say that word. They are healers, essentially. I mean, it's kind of in the name. And Divine Guardian is unique. I don't think they can cast spells. Yeah, no divine spell casting. But she's very defensive, or they say she in all the tooltips. Yeah, the Divine Guardian, typically, like, they can bond with one of your companions and protect them for a day. And yeah, they just get a bunch of defensive bonuses defending one person. Guarding Hands, Courageous Defense, Divine Troth. Yeah, once per day, the Divine Guardian pledges her protection to a willing creature for the day. This is done at the same time she prepares her spells. So when you prepare your spells, you bond to either a creature, so if you have like a summoned pet, or you bond to a ally, and you protect them for the day. Divine Weapon Bond, yeah. Aura of Resolve. Oh yeah, Paladins also get auras, which are really cool. Let's see, Aura of Courage, Aura of Resolve, Mark of Justice, Aura of Faith, Aura of Righteousness, Holy Champion. Divine Weapon Bond, additional use. Channel Positive Energy. I don't know what this does. Deal damage to undead creatures or to heal living creatures. Alright. Now, 3rd level, a paladin is immune to all diseases, including supernatural magical diseases, including mummy rot. Also, a lot of games don't have this little chart here in the beginning. It doesn't show your class progression. It's really cool this game does. Wait, what? In addition, while Smite Evil is in effect, the Paladin gains deflection bonus equal to their Charisma modifier, if any, to her armor class against attacks made by the target of the Smite. If the Paladin targets a creature that is not evil, the Smite is wasted with no effect. Smite Evil lasts until the target dies, or the Paladin selects a new target. At 4th level, and at every 3 levels thereafter, the Paladin may Smite Evil 1 additional time per day. Okay. I'm not as familiar with Pathfinder as I am with D&D. A lot of the rules seem to coincide from what I've seen. This is actually my first big introduction to Pathfinder, so if I get a little lost every now and then with all the stuff, please excuse me. Anyway, skills. So I want strength. I might not go... I've been doing 18. I think I might still go 18, then mostly put it into Charisma after that, and then some Constitution. Right, that seems good. And then I get a bonus, pump that up to 20. I don't know, I feel like the Charisma might be better than the Strength. Because since I have Divine Spellcasting, I get a lot of bonuses from Charisma. Then I'm going to get Persuasion, Lore, Religion, I'm a Paladin after all, and Knowledge World. I want to kind of play as like a pragmatic, world-weary individual. And I don't know if I want Charisma here or if I want Constitution. I can always take points out of like other stuff, but I don't want negatives. Yeah, I don't want negative modifiers. Avoid that if I can. So I want that, or I want Strength? Because if I pump that up... Oops. Put that back into Strength, yeah. +5 modifier. I'm going to do that because I get a... there's an ability I'm going to pick that's going to benefit from that. Okay, and what's neat here is you can go down here and you have recommended... These are not recommended for a Paladin. Or for my specific Paladin in class. These are just helpful, useful, so anything that's... They're neutral, essentially. They can be good for your class. And then recommended. The only one that's recommended is Weapon Focus. I'm not going to get that. I am tempted. But I will say the weapon I plan on using... Yeah, the weapon I plan on using is the Earthbreaker, which is the two-handed hammer. Yeah, Earthbreaker. I'm looking forward to using that. I want to have like a two-handed hammer wielding like Sigmarite priest type Paladin. Anyway, we're not going to get that. We're going to get Toughness. So Toughness gives us 3 hit points. You gain 3 hit points. For every hit die you possess beyond 3, you gain an additional +1 hit point. If you have more than 3 hit dice, you gain +1 hit points whenever you gain a hit die, such as when you gain a level. Alright, the second one I'm going to get, it's called Intimidating Presence, or Intimidating Prowess. So your physical might is intimidating to others. Benefit, add your Strength modifier, which is +5, to your Persuasion, Intimidate, checks in addition to your Charisma modifier, which is +2. So I have +7 currently added to my Intimidation checks. And I'm going to pick Iomede, this one. Yeah, I pick a deity because I'm a Paladin. You can do Abadar, which is god of Earth, Law, Nobility, Protection, and Travel, which is what I would do if I was a Divine Guardian. Aristil is god of like the old pleasures, or animal, community, good, law, plant, like a druid. Iomede, or Iomedai? I don't know. Glory, good, law, sun, and war. Sounds pretty swell. But let's look at the rest of them. Iori is healing, knowledge, law, rune, strength. So I could see like a cleric maybe. Serenray. Fire, glory, good, healing. Sun, Shaylin, air, charm, good, luck, protection. Not good luck, just good luck and then protection. Torog, artifice, earth, good, law, protection. That's more of a Dwarven god, is he not? Oh, anyway. So that's what I'm going with. Toughness, intimidating prowess, and Iamade. Alright, Iamade. Iomeda. Anyway, character.
Their life ends here.
All I see is blackness.
Together we stand.
I like most of the voices.
We will be victorious.
I am superior!
I like that one too.
Everyone counts on me.
Let us be off.
I shall not falter.
Adventures await.
I'm gonna go with.
Let us press on.
Let's shake 'em.
I'm always ready.
Sounds ridiculous. Sounds like a superhero.
Mere flesh wound.
Defeat is not an option. Our time has come.
I won't give up.
A solid plan.
Let's hear you!
Time's not waiting. Calm down.
Forwards!
Strike as one. Together we stand.
I kind of like the Pious. He sounds good. And don't mind this.
I have no use for this.
I shall not falter.
You're done for.
The Brave sounds a little ridiculous.
Let us bide our time.
None shall us!
This will hurt.
I have no need for this.
Yeah, we'll go with Pious. I am playing as a religious character. And as is tradition, we'll be playing as Donal, which means leader of the people in Gaelic, which is where my name derives from. I picked lawful good, right? Alright. And even though I'm picking lawful good, there is more leeway to lawful good than most people give it credit for. I'm a little bit more open-minded when it comes to lawful good. And I'm starting with 15 health points, or hit points. And here's all my stats. Looks pretty good. Well, I have 6, thanks to Charisma and Class Skill. Athletics, Strength 5. Charisma gives me that. Alright. Well, let's get started.
Our story started at the mansion of an Aldori sword lord. Drawn by the promise of a most dangerous task and a commensurately huge reward, heroes of all stripes gathered here.
Text didn't match up with the voice acting there.
Where are they? This is taking forever. It didn't even say what this was for, just that the Aldori were looking for heroes. Who are the Aldori anyway? Rich folk?
If you can't be patient, no one's keeping you here. Just go back to your mountains or whatever hole you crawled out of. The Aldori Sword Lords run the premier school for the dueling arts. They're also the richest and most influential group in this part of Brevoy. Take that tone with them, and they'll teach you some manners pretty quickly.
All right, you purple toad, just shut your trap. And if you can't, I'll help you.
Hush! Quiet! They're coming.
Greetings, everyone. I am Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori, and this is Lord Mayor Yosef Salimius of Restov. Welcome to my mansion.
We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for responding to our call. You may be few, but that's unavoidable. We need only the best of the best for this task. And I see true heroes before me, strong and fearless, exactly what Restov needs.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Now, to the point. South of here, just beyond Brevoy's border, lies a region known as the Stolen Lands. This is disputed territory, and while it's long been claimed by nearby states, it's never been truly taken. I won't bore you with the legal technicalities. Suffice to say that anyone with enough courage and power to seize the Stolen Lands and name themselves Baron or Baroness, claiming dominion, well, none of the neighboring states would be able to challenge it. Of course, Restov would be first to recognize the legitimacy of this new state, as well as the noble title of its founder. Unfortunately, one serious obstacle stands between you and this title. A gang of bandits holds sway in the Stolen Lands. Their chief, who they call the Stag Lord, considers himself the rightful owner of these lands, and no one has yet been able to challenge his power. Bring me his head, and you'll be able to return to the Stolen Lands as their legal ruler. Any questions?
I have a whole bunch of questions. This whole team of us, who exactly will receive the Baron's title?
I will, of course. I'm the leader of this team, after all. Don't worry, though. I'll make it worth your while to help me.
We haven't yet begun, and you already speak of divvying rewards. What makes you think we'll even succeed? There's little point arguing over who gains the title when we'll most likely lose our lives there.
If I may please answer the question.
Oh, sorry. She takes a long pause, waiting for the voices to die down, as everyone directs their attention toward her.
We believe you're all equally deserving of a noble title. Over the course of your expedition, it will be up to you as a team to decide which of you is best suited to rule.
Alright, I don't like this question. I think it's really dumb. But I'm going to ask it anyway, because I believe in expiring all the... not expiring. I want to get all the text, all the dialogue, everything shown. I want to hear it all. I want to read it all. But I think this question is really dumb. Because he's a bandit leader. You don't want a bandit leader to be in charge.
That's a good point. As I see it, this Stag Lord already holds power over the region with confidence. Many noble bloodlines were started by bandits who just got lucky, weren't they?
Ooh, I feel like that was a slight.
Perhaps because we do have standards to maintain. This room has seen many celebrations of adventurers, and even those who just got lucky. But giving a noble title to a bandit lord? That's one thing that's never happened here, and it won't while I still breathe.
You're helping us found a barony. What do you gain from such generosity?
Don't ask stupid questions. Why should you even care? What they have to gain and why, that's for Lady Aldori and I to discuss. It's none of your concern. Your only concern is to swing your sword around, or whatever it is you do.
Swing my sword around your face.
Of course, we stand to benefit from this enterprise. But if you're concerned that we intend to rule your country from afar, using you as a front, well, please know that these concerns are unfounded. Let's just say that we have a strong interest in the region's stability. We have need of a ruling power we can negotiate with, not bandit gangs and monster hordes.
What rewards can we expect exactly?
And what reward would you seek beyond a noble title and your own lands?
Money.
We'll absorb the costs of preparing and equipping your expeditions. Once you return victorious, Restov will also allocate you a significant sum to provide financial support for you to establish your country. Essentially, we'll help you build your capital. I hope such a reward is satisfactory.
It's okay.
Words, words, words. Significant, financial. I can't fill my belly with pretty words.
Of course. There will also be an official banquet held in your honor. All of Restov's high society will gather to celebrate your feat.
Oh, gross, my feet. I know it's not that sort of feat.
Now you're talking.
Alright, it's clear as day.
Excellent. You venture forth tomorrow. For now, you can take some time to get to know one another better. or you can head straight to your guest rooms to get some rest. You'll find we've already prepared supplies for you there. And thank you again for agreeing to take part in this expedition. I wish you luck.
Thank you again, with all my heart, for replying to this call. The flare in your eyes reveals your courage, the unshakable will that distinguishes true heroes. I look at you, O champions of Restov, and doubt not for a second that you'll be victorious. So venture forth toward your feet. Go, and return in triumph.
Hi, my name's Lindsay. I'm a bard, though this is my first real adventure. So, shall we go teach this stag lord a lesson?
I'm Donal. Pleased to meet you.
Likewise. Actually, I also wanted to ask you something. How do you feel about this Tartuccio fellow? I think he's pretty obnoxious personally. He appointed himself head of the team, and he's just after the Baron's crown, or whatever it is barons wear. It doesn't matter. I don't like him. I think you should be team leader. When I first saw you, I couldn't help but think, now here's a real hero. Someone who'll be praised in poems and songs. This is the person I'll write my book about.
Wait, a book?
Damn, I should have led with that. Please, just let me explain.
Okay. Oh, alright, she's not going to read this part. You know what the trouble is with most heroes' biographies is? Wait, what the trouble with most heroes' biographies is? They're always written years later, based on the tales of, best case, people who saw things from outside. Worst case, someone heard about it from their brother, who heard it from their friend, who heard it from their cousin, and so on. Adding a new batch of lies each time. Every time I read about a heroic journey, I think to myself, why didn't they just bring a bard with them to write it all down properly?
And then I thought, I could be that bard. I just needed to find a suitable hero and volunteer to follow along on their glorious adventure. A great plan, huh? And here we are, with a heroic journey lying before us. Who's going to be the hero? Some dwarf who keeps muttering about how we'll all die? Or maybe that horrific scythe lady? Or, God's forbid, Tartuccio? No way.
Okay. What about that barbarian? She looks pretty heroic. I think her name's Amiri.
Oh yeah, she's fantastic. You can tell she could tear a bear's head off with her bare hands, but she kind of scares me just a little. But, I mean, her sword's twice as big as I am. She could cut me down without even noticing. Just think on it a bit, all right? I'm sure you'll agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm going to my room to write about tonight. See you in the morning.
Let's check out what the feats thing, because I am chasing glory with my paladin. Alright, and here we are. Also, if you check, I just want to make note that if you choose a different weapon proficiency, and if you choose a different weapon proficiency in the beginning, you get a weapon specialization, I guess. You get that weapon starting out. What's this? Oh, neat. Alright. Anyway, we're going to call it here. We've accepted our quests, and we're going to go conquer the Stolen Lands. There's something else I was going to say, but I don't remember what it was. Anyway, we'll continue our journey next time. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you there.